Welcome back to Trailblazers Online. How are you all feeling today? Can you believe it's already the month of March? I definitely can't. Time's flying so fast. Well, last week we had our first ever online Zoom cell group. Did you have fun? If you did, can you put up your hands on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Who had fun? Put up their hands! I did. I definitely enjoyed being able to talk to all of you and seeing all your faces on camera. Well, it is a new month, which means it's time to learn a new lesson. This week, we are going to be looking at the story of a man named Samson. Before we start, can you have with you your Bible, your journal, and a pen? Do you have all of these things with you? Great, now we can start. Today's story comes from Judges, chapter 16, verse 1 to verse 30. Each day we are filled with choices. Will you keep yourself pure and right for God? In today's story, we will see how Samson made wrong choices that got him into real trouble because he did not keep himself pure for God. Samson was a judge in Israel, chosen by God as God's deliverer from the Philistines. He had taken a special vow to keep his life pure for God. Samson's vow meant that he couldn't drink, cut his hair, or touch a dead body. If he did, he would be disobeying God. Samson went to Gaza and broke his vow. The people of Gaza locked up the gates, planned to kill Samson, but Samson was strong. He escaped, taking the gates with him. Samson fell in love with a Philistine woman, Delilah. Delilah did not know the God of Israel, nor did she believe in him. The Philistines bribed Delilah with a lot of money, like thousands of dollars, to find out the secret of Samson's strength. They wanted to know how to make Samson weak. Delilah asked Samson to tell her the secret of his extraordinary strength. 3 times, Samson deceived Delilah, telling her ways to capture him that he knew wouldn't work. Binding him with strings, binding him with new ropes, and binding his hair in a loom. Each time Delilah attempted to bind Samson, Samson escaped through his God-given power. When Samson finally told Delilah the secret of his strength, she lulled him to sleep. Delilah cut his hair, causing his strength to leave him. The Philistines rushed out of hiding, captured Samson, gouged out his eyes, bound him, and made him work like an animal. Slowly, Samson's hair began to grow again. The Philistines assembled in a large temple to worship their god, Dagon. They brought Samson out of the prison to perform for them. Samson asked to be placed between 2 pillars. He prayed for physical strength. He pushed the pillars with all his might, saying, "Let me die with the Philistines." The temple collapsed. Sadly, Samson died with the Philistines in that temple. He suffered the consequences of his failure to keep his life pure before God. And this was how God used Samson to free the Israelites from the Philistines. Samson might not appear to be the perfect man for God to use to free the Israelites from their enemies, but God can use anyone. And ultimately, Samson brought God glory. What did we learn from this story? I'm going to tell you 3 key things that you learn from this story. Are you ready? Get your journals ready and make a note of it. Number 1. We can serve God even if we are not perfect. Samson wasn't perfect. He disobeyed God so many times, but God still used him for His glory. Number 2. Be obedient. It is so much easier to obey than to disobey. And number 3, Choose to keep yourself pure before God and learn to say no to disobedience. This week's memory verse comes from 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 22. Do not share in the sins of others. Keep yourself pure. Now for the tasks. For this week's task, we want you to make a note of all the temptations you have faced this week and jot down how God has helped you make the right choices. Ask God to strengthen you and give you wisdom for each moment. So, that's all for this week. Don't forget to keep up with the rest of your activities in your journal. And for the junior class, you have a new workbook for this month. This month, we're going to be continuing into the stories of Jesus. And don't forget to send all your work for all your teachers to see. We definitely look forward to it. Now, stay tuned to the end of the video to see what all your friends have been up to this month.
James chapter 1 verse 5. If any one of you lacks wisdom, ask God who gives generously without finding fault, and it will be given to you.
James chapter 1 verse 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, ask God who gives generously without finding fault, and it will be given to you.
Hello, I'm Gabriel. I already done my February church activity book. First page. Jesus in the temple. Luke 2 verse 52. Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and all the people. Second page. Jesus and the fisherman. John 1 verse 49. You are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. Thank you.
Bye-bye! Have a great week ahead!